as the lead author of this item, and also I want to thank Councilmember Kalb for also co-authoring this item. This is a resolution in support of Proposition 64, which is on the ballot 1 week from today for legalizing, taxing, and regulating cannabis for adult use in the state of California. And I wanted to share both why I think it's really important and why I believe that the passage of this measure, should it pass, would not be the end of the discussion, but rather that further work, including that recommended by our Cannabis Commission, would also be in order. First of all, you know, folks have asked me, you know, well, why do we even need to legalize cannabis? After all, anyone who really wants to get their hands on it doesn't exactly have trouble doing so right now. So what would be the benefit of legalization? And I felt it would be important to share the benefit of legalization is not primarily about making it easier for people to get it, because we know that's not currently much of a problem. But the point is to end mass incarceration. The point is to end the decades and decades of punishing of people who have been convicted, in some cases years ago, of something that our nation has now come to the agreement is not really a crime. And people who have cannabis offenses on their records are still to this day denied jobs, denied housing, denied student loans. And Prop 64, besides setting up a tax and regulated model for adult use, also creates a pathway for people to be released from jail if it's a covered offense, and for people who've already served their sentences to have their records cleared. And so I would hope, should it pass, we will also continue to do work to help educate people and provide people access to that pathway to have their records cleared, because the continuing punishment of people, both through imprisonment and through the ongoing denial of jobs and services because of their record, is a great injustice. We also know it is by far racially disparate. It is almost exclusively African Americans who are targeted by these laws, and so it is a great injustice that needs to be undone. And that, in my view, is the most important reason to vote yes on Prop 64. I also wanted to acknowledge and share a letter from the Cannabis Commission that came in that makes the point which I agree with, which is that Prop 64 is not the end, and should it pass, there are still further steps that we need to take, and that I would urge that we would, at that point, urge the state to take, including issues like removing cannabis from the list of state-controlled substances, taking actions to support small cottage growers to ensure that the industry doesn't just become R.J. Reynolds, and the other items listed on this handout, which I believe everybody should have. So those would be items that it would be my intention to bring back as further action that we would need to take. And I would just want to clarify on the record that Prop 64 explicitly says in it that it can be amended by the legislature. So we're not just tilting at windmills here when we say, should it pass, we have further work that we want to urge the legislature to do. The ballot measure itself does explicitly say that legislative amendments are allowed. So I would look forward to doing that. And in the meantime, let us take another step to end this ridiculous war that Richard Nixon started, and we should not still be fighting. Thank you.